one is to blame for your future situation but yourself. If you want to be successful, then become successful. By Jainis Shah. With this quote, let's start a fresh day with today's session. I, Seema Sinha, HOD of Commerce and Management, on behalf of Silicon City Management and Commerce, I would like to welcome Dr. Samir Simha sir, Chairman, Secretary Ravi L, Principal Mr. Raghu V, and our ever supportive Mr. uh, Vice Principal Mr. Arun Kumar sir. I would like to welcome to our participants, teachers, parents, and students for attending today's session. I would like to welcome Principal sir to speak few words. Over to you,
Oh,
sir.
yeah, very good morning, one and all present here. It gives me great pleasure to welcome all you to this very important and interesting program, Reinvent Yourself. Silicon City College of Management and Commerce, it's a premier institution in South Bangalore, providing quality education at a very competitive fee structure. We are specialized in providing education for commerce and management. The college has a very good infrastructure. Teachers are experienced. Most of them are here with us from past 10 years. Minimum service they have put in here in our college is 7 years. 99% of them have got their uh, uh, um, good education, not just PG, but even after that, they have pursued, some of them have finished PhDs, pursuing PhDs. They are very good research scholars publishing papers in national and international papers. We also give equal importance to sports and curricular activities, other curricular activities. We have got a strong alumni support and not just the commerce and management education prescribed by the university. We are also providing extra coaching on so many factors. For example, Tally GST and Advanced Excel is compulsory for all our students. Along with that, we teach them certified courses, certificate courses in digital marketing and Photoshop, Corel Draw, web hosting, all these things we are trying to teach them. And education today is not just limited to four walls. We take them on industrial tools. We have got a very active Red Cross society, Red Cross unit. And also we have got a NSS unit, which is led by Professor Puneet, who is very young and energetic, student friendly. So I wish all of you join, or those who have not joined, uh, please visit our campus, meet us, find how exciting it will be to study in Silicon City College. And as I said, education doesn't end up there. Whether you join me or not, please stay with us. We will be inviting you for such programs where education has to go beyond the book learning. We want to reinvent yourself. The potential that is hidden in you must be brought out. For that purpose, today we have Mr. Paritosh Sharan, and I will pass on the mic to Seema ma'am to continue with the introduction of Paritosh sir. Seema ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
There has been several obstructions and happiness in our life because of the current pandemic. We all filled with the anxiety and stress in the situations. So, the Silicon City College of Management and Commerce took the initiative to conduct a webinar on Reinvent Your Life. I hope this session helps you to ease your mind and create some happiness in your lives. I also hope you get inspired by our guest speaker, Mr. Paritosh Sharan. He is not only hardworking and dedicated to his job, but also immensely passionate towards betterment of human lives. Let's welcome Mr. Paritosh Sharan. He is a life and executive coach, an OD consultant, leadership and startup coach, a mentor, a behavioral analyst, counselor, and a transformer speaker. He is also a founder and CEO of Human Transhuman Consulting, a mechanical engineer by education. He comes with more than 23 years of rich corporate experience. He is a certified PL analyst, a hypnotherapist, pranic healer, a psychotherapist, and a landmark in graduate in ontology. He draws his insight from his years of research and practices in the field of yoga, neuroscience, quantum healing, moderate and human process work which enable him to help people to reinvent their lives. I feel very proud and privileged to introduce Mr. Parito Sharan and welcome him on behalf of we all. Over to you, Paritosha.
Thank you, Seema, and thank you, Professor Ravi. Uh, this has been one of the very uh, glad moments for me when I get a chance to interact with, at least I would call it the teaching faculties. I mean, teachers, because I owe my gratitude to them because probably you are at the source of all of us. So whenever I get a chance to interact with the teachers and the student faculty, I feel myself very fortunate. And I don't let it go anytime I get an opportunity. So thank you, first of all, for having me and giving me a chance to, just express some of my views in this regard. And also, I know that apart from the faculty members, there would be a lot of students. And I wish that I had this education when I was young. Otherwise, my life went into a kind of trajectory which was probably I was not even responsible, I would say, because we are all impacted by our environment, and we tend to make some decisions or choices at that time which we never review actually till the end. But there are some of us who review those situations, right? When there is a crisis like pandemic or COVID, right? So this kind of subject is not something new. I'm not doing this kind of webinar or the program only during the COVID. We have been doing this. This is one of my flagship program, Reinvent Your Life, which is a 2 days program actually, where people at different age groups, they come and they kind of discover themselves and rediscover themselves and keep tuning themselves into the potential that they have, because none of us are actually aware what potential we have, but we, hypothetically speaking, we all know that human potential is unlimited. But then whether it is limited or unlimited, what is happening is how much do we know about it. And even if you know, how much you are using it practically, right? So the whole idea behind today's session is basically to look at your life, how you make such decisions, and what do you think you can do for the future. Yes, now this situation, I would say, this topic has become very relevant because people like us even have to reinvent at this moment of time, and a whole lot of people in the whole world. Yesterday, I was listening that there are some 50 million people have lost their jobs, right, worldwide. And I keep on getting a lot of calls because people are getting into depression, nervous breakdown, people losing job, no hope. And also, there's another thing. We are all locked in into houses, right? In fact, now there could be some release, but what happened? We were locked in into houses with those people, whether we like them or don't like them, but we are locked with them. So what has happened? We are all having this pressure cooker syndrome at home, not able to even vent out what is going on inside, right? Then we had many ways of venting out our emotions. Like, for example, if I'm too tired here, then I can go just walk out and meet a friend and come back, or go for a cup of coffee and come back. Now all those coping mechanisms are gone. So right now we are kind of locked in. So even from that point of view, we have an opportunity to really understand what is that we are supposed to do in this, and how do we reinvent ourselves, and in the process we reinvent our relationships as well, right? So that's the whole background. So what we are going to look at in this, how and why we should reinvent. First of all, why we should reinvent. If anyone has got any questions, please do keep typing in the chat box so that we can address this. But towards the end, we are going to take some call. So I would like all of you to go to your chat box and just write down how many of you think that reinventing is something you have already been doing. If you would like to respond, please just go ahead and respond. And I will see some of the response, not all, but would like to see some response. How many of you think you are using this process, or you are using some of these processes, or you even understand that there is a need for us to reinvent? Anybody would like to comment? Please go ahead and do that. Professor Ravi, and if you would like to unmute yourself and say something, please go ahead and say as well. I would like to initially take some of the responses so that we can go ahead. Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Right. Okay, so looks like there is no response to this. Myself,
Yeah, but
right. Inventing by gathering a lot of information during this pandemic situation. Mr. Gurunatha, circumstances reinforces to reinvent and inspect to move forward. Brilliant. That's one of the very important, uh, I would say, one of the very prevalent way of reinventing.
ఇప్పుడు ఏ మనసులు కలిసిపోయినంత వరకు ఏ సమస్య రాదు. అవి రానప్పుడు ఒక నుంచి ఒకటి భయపడినప్పుడే ఇంకా
Okay, so thank you for whosoever responded. Let me just say this one sentence. Why do we require to reinvent? Number one, do we know first ourselves, or do we think that reinvention is a kind of a automatic kind of a process which happens and given by the circumstances? I would like to just refer one particular model which I use for people to start looking at how they actually create their own life the way they want. So first of all, when I say reinvent your life, some of the people immediately think about, you have invented yourself, now I have to reinvent, right? So number one, my idea is that reinvention is a constant process. But when we look at as reinvention, we do it by design, which I would call is not a normal process, but really fundamentally looking at things uh, and finding out what I am doing in life, why I'm doing what I'm doing. How many of you, just think about it, how many of you has very consciously chosen your path? And how many of you really want to do what you are doing right now? Just think about it. These two questions will give you some answers. And how many you think that I have experienced what I have experienced, I have done what I have done, but I feel that I'm still not living my life the way I would like to live, right? If you have all these kind of questions, then I think this session is going to be of great use to you. So straightway, I'm moving into our 2x2 matrix. You will find it very interesting. So let me take you there.
So there are two participants who typed their question on the chat box.
Right. I'll just have a look at it. You are able to see this matrix?
Yeah.
All of you?
Yes, sir.
Right. I'm using this Miro.com whiteboard to discuss few things. So let me see what questions are there. Yeah, so that I have seen. Thank you for the response. Yeah. So please focus on this matrix. Okay, this is 2 by 2 matrix, and all of you start looking at your life in terms of your behavior, your capabilities, and what you are doing in life. It is said that only 2 to 3% of the people in this world, right, they are defining the direction of the world. Even if you look at the corporates or institution, typically there are 2 to 3% of the people who are the real decision makers, and they move the system. But 97%, this is a survey, 97% of the people typically either they support that process or they are just following the path which has been given to them. It means only 2 to 3% people are the real people who are living their life the way they want to live. Okay. And this is something I was not aware of in my entire career. So let me tell you, I'm basically a mechanical engineer, and I worked in Tata Steel for 7 years running power plant. The next 7 years I was in Satyam Computers. Those of you who know, it used to exist now, part of the Tech Mahindra. And then next 7 years I worked for Oracle Corporation. Next 2 years I worked for HCL, and next 1 year for Tech Mahindra. This entire period of 23 years, I had different kind of a role, and I was not even sure why I'm shifting so frequently until unless I met with a serious crisis. In fact, I remember that crisis was driving me from one thing to another. Coming from a middle class family, what we did, we had only 2 options at that moment of time: either become an engineer, or become a doctor, or become a failure. Those are the only 3 things we had. At least that's the option was given to me, right? And what was the easiest path? Failure nobody can accept. So I took the engineering, which is the easiest path, and I became an engineer. And I joined an organization, worked for so many years. Then I have another challenge, so another 7 years, another challenge, another 7 years. Kept on working till there is a point in life when I'm really looking at, am I living my life? Am I really living a life which I really wanted? I found that something that I picked up long time back because of my conditioning, and then only trying to survive all this while. And I thought that there is a safe way of going, and there is not a there is an adventurous way of doing. But never I knew that no, you can create your life the way you want. And those who are here today, I would like you to start thinking about this process. You will get a lot of insight from here. And I will give you some tools actually to look at, though this process is pretty long, but I like to give you a gist so that you can start thinking. And I'm sure that at least some of you will have a kind of a seed today planted in you. One day it will become a tree. It may take months, may years, may 5 years, 10 years, but this seed is going to be within you, which will become a tree tomorrow. And that's my idea. That's the kind of work I do. That I plant that seed and in people's life, and it grows later on the way they want it to grow, right? So um, I was born out of a crisis. I would say my rebirth happened out of a crisis, and at that time I decided that I have to really reinvent myself. How many of you feel that sometime you are lost in life? And when you are lost in life, it's very difficult for you to feel empowered. You can't feel very empowered when you are lost in life. But then I realized the potential of it, because it's good to get lost in life sometimes. Because then only you try to find your path. And when you try to find your path, your expansion happens. Otherwise, you have been walking on the path which others gave you. And you will never really look at what is truly my path, right? So look at this matrix. Maybe it will give you some clue, right? So look at this. We all have some behaviors. Right now, I'm going to um, analyze things from the behavior, but later on, I'm going to look into many things, your capability, your values, and many other things. I'm going to look at it. Just look at this from the behavior point of view. In 2 by 2 matrix, on the x-axis, you have consider there are behaviors which is I'm saying that it is not good for you, and there are behaviors which is good for you, right? And we can find some examples. And on the y-axis, you have the behaviors which you like, and there are behaviors which you don't like, right? Uh, I hope all of you have figured this out for you. So let me take one example. What is the kind of a behavior some of you think that it's not good for me and I don't like also, but we do it? How many of you can figure out one such behavior? Please type in, okay? Type your response. Do you think any behavior which you don't like and it is not good for you? And mind it, these choices are different for different people. A behavior which I think some way, you may not think the same way. So this is very individual. There is nothing called a generic kind of responses. For me, one such behavior which is there in this quadrant 4, which is not good for me and I don't like, is, let's say, anger. I do get angry at times, but I know it's not good for me. And definitely I don't like, right? Thank you, Anita, talkative. I think um, uh, this is your version that you, whether you like it or you don't like it. So thank you for that responding. Being very sensitive at most of the situation is not good for me, but I do. Okay, so that's another great response. And keep looking at negligence. Great responses. Emotional behavior. Okay, emotional behavior is considered very good nowadays because now corporates are actually using this behavior very usefully, because they have realized that emotions is the only energy we have, but we didn't know how to utilize it. Let me give an example. When I started working in Tata Steel at that time, the real notion which I was key, they used to say, I'm just saying this in Hindi, ये अपना emotions घर में छोड़ के आना, don't bring it to the work. They used to say like this, right? Now what they do, they are not saying anymore like this. I have been asked to conduct emotional intelligence programs in the corporate because they know that humans have emotions and we need to learn how to manage it and utilize it, rather than saying don't be emotional. If you are emotional, these are now becoming a strength actually. But then I'm saying that it doesn't matter what people think. What you think matters here. So thank you for response. Becoming low, okay, that's an emotional and a mental state that may not be a behavior. Rash driving, brilliant. You do not like and it's not good for me, but you do at times, right? Brilliant. So now all of you aware what I am talking about, right? Then look at the next quadrant, which is quadrant number 2, which is behaviors which is not good for you, but you like. Now we will have many such behaviors, right? There are many addictions also in this. So I would not like to go too deeper here because this matrix takes me at least half a day to 1 day of work. I do it in a workshop, but I hope you are able to understand. You will see that this matrix 2 is where all our obsessive behaviors are there. Obsessive compulsive behaviors which we do. Somebody is drinking too much of tea, somebody drinking too much of coffee. They are doing all of these things. Some are into smoking, some are into drinking. There are some other, many other behaviors. These days, I would say people are sitting just, in the social media. That is also becoming a big addiction. It's worse than cocaine, actually. It has become so bad, right? So all our obsessive compulsive behaviors plus many such behaviors we do as a matter of habit just to feel good. I know that it's not good for me, but we do it. Why? Because it gives me some relief. Some dopamine release happens in the brain and I feel happy. And people want to just become happy. They don't want to really face the situation also at times. So they use coping mechanisms. That's behavior number 2. Typically, this area is quite a bit in our life. Many of us have that, and some of us are completely overwhelmed by that, right? Then look at the next one, the third one. And that third one is the bottom one, bottom right. I know there are some behaviors which is good for me, but I don't like. And I think all of us have got this area most, I think the biggest, right? All of us know what's good for me, but somehow we don't like it. And for example, I know that exercise is very good for me, but what to do? I don't like it. I know reading books are very good for me, but I don't like it. And all good things in this life are falling in this third quadrant. But is it so? Is it the reality? Yes, this is the reality for bulk of the humanity. Bulk of the humanity live either in quadrant 2 and quadrant 3. Right? I'm sorry, I've not numbered them, but I'm saying this diagonally opposite. So let's look at quadrant 4. It is said that only 3% of the people, they are excelling in life. So what is the formula for excellence? How can somebody can excel in life? And it could be your personal life, it could be a professional life. And you would start noticing there is one thing which is common, why they excel. And this matrix will give you the answer. Number 1, somehow, at least one thing in their life they have found out which they know they like and they think that they are good at it. All of us have those, but many of us do not know. And by any chance, if you can find one thing for yourself in that quadrant, just find out one thing in your life, and then you go into completely different level of performance. And many of us have not even explored. So I'll give an example. For Viswanathan Anand, chess will be here. For Sachin Tendulkar, cricket is here. I personally, I would say, I won't say that I'm become excellent, but I have found my area of interest here. And I left a very flourishing career because I said this is the place where I feel I enjoy the most. And it's not an area where I ever get tired. So people who are really passionate about certain things, and those passion, their passion also, you'll hear this maybe for the first time, that not all passions are good. Some passions can actually fall in the addictions because they can be self-destructive in nature. But they think that that's the way to live. Some of the extreme exports, I would say, which could be very harmful, people take it because they get a lot of adrenaline and dopamine out of it. But I'm talking about those passion which you have and you think it is good for me, then it will fall in quadrant 4. Now the question here is that how many of you think you are operating from there? Because if you can just find one such thing, your life simply skyrockets, right? there's another good thing happens. Most of the people who are today in depression and who are suffering by any means, right? You will find them, they are struggling. They are struggling. Why? Because they do not have anything in quadrant 4. And there, anyone who has got quadrant 4 empty, then quadrant 2, which is the addiction cycle, which I'm saying, that is very big, because they are not happy in life, that they try to become happy by using one or the other methods of enjoyment just to keep them. But it may not actually move their life, but it gives you survival at that moment of time. Somehow you survive in life, right? So we have seen that if quadrant 4 is empty, then quadrant 2 is big. But if I expand quadrant 4 even a little, this quadrant 4 or 2 start becoming smaller, smaller and smaller. I have lots of cases where I take the depression cases and addiction cases and all. I have a very different way of working. I do not work directly on the addiction because they do not have anything to fall on. If I take out their coping mechanism, they may not survive. So what we do is we found out something in quadrant 4 and help them something there, so that they get enough oxygen and energy in life, and they will themselves come out of quadrant 2. They said, why I'm wasting my life, why I'm wasting my energy there, let me put all my energy in quadrant 4, right? Now question is, how do I really find out something in quadrant 4? And I would call it, that's the process of reinventing, right? So there are many ways to look at it, but here was just for this matrix part, I'm just asking two things. Two straight paths. Number one, some of you would like to note down, please arrange some, paper and pencil and pen, and do that, because my slides will not be very descriptive. I would suggest you to take a note of it for yourself, and it's going to be there with you. So two ways. One is either you find out something, what is something which I really like. Many a times who are living in a survival mode, we have developed a habit that whenever there is something which really I like, but there is something else is urgent, we put it off. We don't want to entertain because we don't want to invest there. Sometimes we have the guilt to indulge into that, what I like really. But I'm saying that there are some people, some of you might be good in painting, some of you might be good in some creative work, some of you might be doing something which you really like, but then you are asked to just focus on your studies and then go ahead with your job and something, and you just left that area unaddressed, right? Start looking at your passions, right? So if you can find something in quadrant 4 directly, start investing some energy there. That's one thing. We don't invest energies. And the second one is, you know that there are so many things is good for me, but why you don't take it to quadrant 4? Because you don't find it interesting enough. I'll give one example. I found out myself that I am not like a gym guy or something. I will go to I'll go do some exercise. I was pretty good in my sports. Like I used to play hockey and cricket and badminton and all, but not every places we had this opportunity, right? But there's one thing which I really liked it, was walking. Right from I remember my teen period, and then my earlier stay in Jamshedpur. We were some friends and we used to go and walk. We used to walk some 20-25 kilometers in a day, right from 3 to morning, I mean evening, around say 6 o'clock we'll start walking and we'll walk till 10. And even in Hyderabad today, I do the same thing at times, and I don't get tired. I can walk for that long, for 4 hours, and I found out that I travel around 24 to 25 kilometer at a stretch. And why? Probably because I like it, and I know it's good for me. And the moment this combination comes, you don't get tired. You get a lot of oxygen, right? So two ways, as I mentioned: find out something which is you really find in quadrant 4, or find out something in quadrant 3 and make it interesting. Even to the organization, even to the institution, I suggest, if you think that there are ways, even the educational institution I'm talking about, if you really want to find out that passion, you have to find out whether it is a study or project or anything that you do, find out how we can make it interesting. How can I make the environment interesting? Because what will happen, the same work which people are not really motivated, they just get motivated by finding it interesting or doing their own way. Sometimes we have this regulation that this is the task you have to do, and they know that they are good at tasks, but somehow they don't find interest because they are not allowed to do the things their way, because somebody tells them this is the way you have to do it, right? Can we become flexible there? Bring that flexibility in your life also. Try different ways to do things which you think is good for me or you like, right? And you will suddenly see. And even if you can find one area or two area in your, just one area also in quadrant 4, I'm telling you, you get so much of oxygen in life that life starts moving. So this is the first tip I would like to give you, because we have not looked at this, and only 3% people are like that. So chance, so opportunity here. Think about it. Shall I be in 100 or shall I be in 3%? And if you decide today, that means you have decided to reinvent yourself. I hope so far this is okay. Any questions anyone have? I'm stopping here for a minute or two just to find out if anybody has got any questions. You can unmute yourself and ask, so that uh, if anything interesting comes out, I can address it. Any questions so far?
Sir, shall I read one chat box text
Yep.
posted by a participant, Professor Gurunath?
Right.
Emotions trigger our actions, but
Right.
choosing right emotions at right time for right things in the art of life.
Right. So, and that's a brilliant statement, Professor Gurunath. I mean, emotions is the thing. Let me tell you, because I am also a trainer of NLP, neuro linguistic programming, and some of you might be listening to Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins is the world's biggest coach. He has coached many billionaires, four of the presidents of United States, right? Today, millions of people have turned around their life. There's only one thing I would say he does, and I'm going to share some of these things because he also uses NLP. uh, I would suggest that emotions are the greatest energy that we have. We have no idea how to utilize it, right? But we also do not know that if emotion is a part of my mental state, it is my hand to really get back into that emotion, because we can choose. Emotions are energies. If it is negative side, you tend to take some negative actions. If you're positive side, you get chance to take actions, right? So yes, I completely agree with this statement. I just like to add this, that we need to be control of our emotions. Means I should be using emotions, emotions should not use me. Because I have a shirt, I'm not my shirt. I have emotions, I'm not my emotions, right? But what happened in the grief of emotion, we forget. What will happen if you use anger as a tool, right? And you get used by anger as a tool. When you are getting used by the anger, you feel so miserable, right? You are not in control of your life. But sometime maybe a student or so, you would like to show some anger so that person takes the message, right? But you are actually not taken over by the anger. You know that now I'm using anger, but you are in full control. And that time this emotion is used for better results rather than getting harming yourself and getting. How many times you have experienced that some accident, small accident happened, the two vehicle got hit and the nose of the vehicle got broken, but they come out and they start breaking their own noses also, right? And go back home. Accident was, it happened, but why the hell we got into this fight? Now we're damaged our body as well, right? So this is something which is happening because we are not in control of our emotions. I completely agree with you, but emotion is something we learn how to utilize it. If you can utilize your emotions, that's the only tool that you have to skyrocket your life and take it to a different level, right? So any
Yes, sir. There is one more person.
any
Shall,
other clarifications anyone need
yes,
that,
sir.
right?
Shall I read the chat box text, sir?
Right, please, if any questions beyond that.
Being very sensitive at most of the situation is not good for me, but I do.
Right. I would say I would like to explore this part, because I would suggest this way. If you are sensitive enough, right? What does it mean? That you are sensitive to your emotions, you are sensitive to others' emotions, right? And if you are so, I would like to congratulate you. Don't feel bad about it, right? You have to now work inside. How do I become aware about those and use this for my awareness, but not get used by it, right? So use it for your awareness, because if you're not sensitive, you'll not come to know also what's happening. Do you know there are some people who are so absolutely insensitive? Somebody dies in front of them, nothing happens to them, right? And we need to be sensitive. If you are evolved, you are going to be sensitive. But then what will happen is, when you are sensitive, you understand the emotions, you're going to utilize it, not get used by it, right? That's what we need to look at it. And this is the whole subject of emotional intelligence, which is one of the most powerful program now when we are talking about emotions. For example, right, let's say, what is emotion? Emotion is something which you are feeling, right? Thinking is in the mind, but emotions is in the body, right? So emotion is such a critical parameter which is telling you what is happening inside. But consider, instead of just observing and finding out from why I'm feeling like this, you just go and gulp a cup of coffee to get out of it. You have not dealt with the situation. So emotions became the gateway for you to understand the situation. But what you did, I don't feel good, so I just went have a coffee or had. Some people go and smoke, some people go and have a bottle and drink, and they think that they have really covered it up. No, they have not, right? So what will happen? You, life has offered an opportunity and you miss that. Mind it, our mind can go corrupt. Mind can misguide you, but your emotions are telling actually what you're feeling, which will never be wrong. So we need to learn to look at the emotions, observe our emotions, and I can tell you there are different ways. Under any circumstances, you can come out of any emotions, any mental state in just 2 minutes. We are living in that emotion for years, months, but if you really become proficient, you can come out of it within 2 minutes. If you have cases of depression, I can bring them in 5 minutes. I can raise their energy in 5 minutes straight. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that towards the end. So we need to take charge of this machine, this tool, right? This tool is amazing. There's no tool like that. And emotion is a very important parameter, because emotions are the real, I call it sensors that we have. Any instrument has some sensors, right? Emotions is your sensor. Please utilize it. Don't say that I'm too sensitive. We are buying Rafael. You know why? Because Rafael is too sensitive. From 300 kilometers, it can gaze others. That's why its price is 1600 crores. Just imagine the body you have. This is not 1600 crores. This is worth $1 trillion, which you will not get it. There's no tool like this. We are so sensitive, right? Utilize this. This is amazing life we have. And you got to live your full potential. If you're not, means you have used the rifle, but never used it, right? So don't be like that. This body is much, much more than that. So let's move to the next. Uh, so I was saying is that this is one way of looking at how to reinvent yourself. But before we go next, I would like to just mention few things here. Do you know how you have become what you have become? Do you know how come you have become what you have become and why you are doing so what you are doing so right now? So um, there is a way by which you can really find out. And very quickly I'm going to cover some of these aspects. Let me take you to a very small discussion here. This particular triangle is just take a note of it. I use this for organization development, for life coaching, for executive coaching, for relationship counseling. Every places I use it. So let me just very quickly use it and just go ahead with the next topic. We are born in an environment. When you're born, you are in an environment, a baby, right? How did you pick up things? You didn't know you didn't have the understanding of the environment. So what you did was you just mimic from your parents and you got those behaviors. You get that? This is how actually you got the behavior. And those behaviors, some of the behaviors, people say, no, look, my child can now walk. Now walking has become a capability. Now my child can run. Oh, now this is the capability. Like that, when you started learning new and new things, right, you actually develop some capabilities. One day, I was playing with that doctor's stethoscope, right? And somebody saw it and said, oh my God, my son will become a doctor one day, or my son will become an engineer one day, or my son will become an athlete one day, or my son will become, a daughter will become an actress one day. And that's the day they planted here, and it became their belief system, right? So what you are today is purely because of your belief system, and you will be shocked by it. Am I a product of my belief system? Yes. Whatever you thought at that time, which I can do, actually that's what you're doing today, or in the process of doing it, right? But whatever you thought, no, it's not possible for me. Actually, that possibility is not there even today in your life, if you start looking at it. So it has got nothing to do with anything else material. It is everything to do with what you believe you are. And that you got it not because of your conscious thinking. You just got it because environment gave you. And that too when you were a child, right? And they saw what's important for my parents, what people are saying, what's important, and that become your values. You also get some idea how a father behaves, how a mother behaves, how a professional behaves, how a doctor behaves, how a brother behaves, how a sister behaves. Somehow you have this identity ideas also. If you have seen your father and mother and nobody else, then when you become a father and mother, you also start behaving like, right? Everything is given to us, right? Because we never had a vision for ourselves. That's why we are like that. In one of the webinar, somebody asked me that I think I need to understand things first, then only I can develop. And I question them. And this is such a myth. You know what? When you were born, one day you started sitting right on the bed. After a few weeks, months, suddenly you can stand. After a few months, you started walking. After a few months, you started eating yourself. After some time, You started speaking. After some time, you started doing so many things. Maybe cycling, maybe swimming, maybe many other things. I'm asking one question just to think about it. None of those behaviors actually or capability you got it because you understood it. You understood it much later. And people have this idea, I need to understand things, then only I'll get it. You know why adults have the problem in learning? Because they don't do things, they want to first understand. And that's why our learning cycle have taken a toll. Any behavior, when you just do it for a few days, you get it. If I teach you, make you understand how to swim and push you in the water, can you swim? No. If you keep swimming, keep trying, one day you'll get that. One day you cycling, you'll get the balance and you'll never lose it ever in your life because they all go into your neurology. Once you get it, you got it. If some problem happens, then neurology, then only you can't walk anymore. Till that time, you got it. So this is how development happens. But this development is by default. This is not by design. That's why everything I heard from my parents, from my society, from everyone, and I started living this. And after some time, in finally, look, everything I did, but why I'm not happy? What's missing? And this happens to even the CEOs, even to the most successful people today. You'll find one day they have suicide. They do not know why, from where that discontent is coming. It is happening because they have not looked into what is really for them. What is really important for them, they do not know. And it is then only that they come and attend some of the workshops, some of that like I do, or somebody, they go to life coaches, executive coaches, and I go find why I'm not happy. I have everything. I have house, I have car, I have got family, I have children. Everything is fine, but why I'm not happy? Why I'm not doing things? That is the time I think you start looking at it. So then we start what? Now we start thinking, okay, what is that do I want in life? And then you go down this triangle. If I know now this is very important for me, then what will happen? You will get your life's why. Why I should do things that I do. Why I'm here. Why I'm on this planet. What's my purpose? Some of the young people might just forget it. Purpose and all this is for the aged people. No. Even the organization has a purpose. Vision, document. In your institution, right? For the corporates, they are not NGOs. They are not here for doing charity work. Even they will have a vision document somewhere on the conference room or the boardroom or the principal's room or somewhere. The vision document is there. Why? Because they know where the organization need to go. But have you found one for yourself where your life should go? Or it is just going by default by your liking and disliking? Liking and disliking is neurology, let me tell you. It has got no value. Your life will really start growing when you start growing beyond your liking and disliking. By neuro-linguistic programming, what you like today, in 2 minutes, I can make you dislike. I'll just change your neurology by conversation. You know, there's a bulk, we call it Swiss pattern, right? There is how the neurology works is amazing. When Ramdev Baba, you might have heard, some of you might have heard, what he said? He said, Coca-Cola matlab toilet cleaner. Now, when you think now about Coca-Cola, suddenly toilet cleaner comes in your mind and then your test get destroyed and you will not take any more Coke. What he did? He played with your neurology, right? We can do it for good. We can do it for bad as well, right? So we can change this. That's how your liking actually got created. And you think what I like is the everything for me. No. Your liking is given to you by somebody by a neurological process that's got no value. Your dislikes are also like that. Liking and disliking is like your shirt. Shirt cannot define you. You should define your liking and disliking. You should decide what should I like and what should I dislike. But right now what is happening for most, their liking and disliking is actually governing their life. And I call them, that's the biggest, coolest way to live that life. Actually, your life will start growing the day you start challenging your liking and disliking. And particularly, I say that, please investigate. How do I start liking? I'll give another, you people, some of you are teachers here. Some of you say that, okay, students, my favorite subject is mathematics. Some will say, my favorite subject is English. I said, bullshit. That's wrong. You have a favorite subject because you had a favorite teacher. That's how it happened. Now find it out. That's exactly the way. Now then you say, okay, English become favorite because I have my favorite teacher. She was teaching in English. No, actually she was not your favorite teacher also. What was happening is you have a learning way. Maybe you are very visually you learn, and your teacher was using the visual methods of giving knowledge and you got it. And there is another person who want to listen and learn more because you are neurological, we are different people, right? And that's why you like that another teacher who is to speak better, and you got a lot of value. You get that? And suddenly that teacher become your favorite, you without knowing why do I like somebody, a teacher, right? And because the teacher was teaching some subject, that subject become your. Now if you operate like this, so one of your friend took you to a coffee, and the friend is so dear to you that next day, if friend is not there, still you'll go and have a coffee and feel, I'm getting the same sense. So you start enjoying coffee, but you do not know what's the basis. How did you started liking it? Start challenging these things. They are diverting you from your life, let me tell you. And the cost of this is your life itself. The cost of it is your life itself if you don't take care of it, right? So all I'm saying is that when you start having clear vision that what is that I want, then it becomes very easy. It becomes very easy because after that, you know that why I am here and what is that is important for me in my life. Then what will happen? You know now who I need to be. Once you know who I need to be, then it will become what clear to you what's important for me now. And that is the time you will not have belief system given by the others. This is time you will say, I need this belief system, so I will take it. And your belief system will start crumbling, changing automatically, right? And if belief system changes, your capability will change, your behavior will change, and hence your environment will change. Right? This is the designing, and I'm short of time, so this is the way I'm saying this takes time. This subject is really introductory in nature, so this is what I wanted to say. To start looking at this, right? Coming to this, how do we really find this about self? So there are three things. One is self-image. What is self-image? I'm a mechanical engineer. These are the facts about me. I'm 50 years old. This is a fact about me, right? I'm a male. That's a fact about me. These are the facts, right? There's another fact. I am not an MBA. That is also a fact, right? So what is the fact about you, which is a million, but which are the facts you focus on, right? That is the self-image. And if you focus on what you have, your self-esteem will be high. And if you only focus on what you don't have, your self-esteem will be low. You get that? Most of the people, if they want to really uplift you, they will tell you things which you have. But they want to demoralize you, they will tell you what you don't have. And if you don't have this understanding, then you know what? You will be demoralized. Never get demoralized. Look at your focus should be what I have, not what I don't have. And that's why people are in depression, because they're forgetting what they have. So when you understand self, this is the first key. First, understand yourself. Let me tell you, everything else will start moving up to that. And it's not like a esoteric and a spiritual thinking, okay, find out who am I, what's my purpose. No, find out this very discreetly. What facts about me I'm focused on, right? and you will feel good, right? So self-image is that part of facts which you focus on. And what you focus on gives you the emotions, means the feeling part, self-esteem. Under any circumstances in life, something happens, you have a choice. In Corona time, you have a choice. You want to look at what's challenge or you want to look at what opportunity. If you look at the challenge, you'll get depressed, certainly. But you look at what opportunity, right? You will get charged. And no situation in life, including life and death, where it doesn't have both the things together. It's our mindset by which we see things, we choose things. Because emotions drive us. So become very clear about it. What is self-ideal? The third one. Self-ideal is something. At the childhood time, somebody said, Ki, I can only become engineer. And somebody said, yeah, Paritos to Bewkoof hai. Biggest fool. So I became fool. I started believing like a fool. I lived like a fool, right? So my self-image was dented by somebody else at that moment of time. And I started taking it. So my actions were also started happening in life. And some people, their child, for some reason, something happened to them. They said, no, I want to be this and I am this. They became like this. I'll give an example to you. One of the programs when I was conducting in Hyderabad, in one of the hotels, this NLP 5 days program, one of the participants was asking, because the US elections were going on at that time. They were discussing who will become the president, Trump or Hillary Clinton. Right? I said Trump. I said, "Aap kaise baat karte? You know so much. Still, you are telling that Trump will become." I said, "What? Who? What do you know about Trump?" They said, "He is the biggest fool." I said, "Cha, he is the biggest fool." But I don't know that he is the biggest fool. I think he is the most clever people. And how come you are saying that? I said, it's not about the intellectual capability. If a person thinks that I am the president already, right, and behaves like it, your neurology gets it. When your neurology gets it, your subconscious mind gets it. Cosmos start delivering it. You know whole world, but it will not save your life. What you believe in is going to happen. That's the universe's law. Whatever you focus on is going to increase. If you are focused on problems, problems is going to increase. If you are focused on solutions, solutions are going to increase. There is no other law, let me tell you. There is no other law. If you are focused on depressive things, means negativity, your negativity will increase. If you focus on positive, even small, it will increase and fill your life. This is the universal law. So what has happened? Our self-concept got dented in our childhood time. Now take control of it and your life will start moving in a direction which you want, right? So there are a few things which I would like to tell you the steps and how to really do it. Know the self, as I mentioned, right? Know the blind spot. Many of us don't know our blind spot. What is blind spot? Blind spot are those spots which you do not know. Some of you might be moving around that I know everything. I know everything. Yeah, and I'm questioning this to young generation also. You have lots of information today which we didn't have at that time. We didn't have the internet itself. We didn't have the mobile itself in our college time. Only when I was joined Tata Steel, and in my after 4 years working in Tata Steel, one day I got that mobile with that antenna thing, and I was very proudly putting it because in Jamshedpur I was one of the few guys who had the mobile. You can't say I was just walking like this, boss. I have a mobile, like, and that is the kind of 16 rupees incoming, 16 rupees outgoing 1 minute. That is the time we had the information, right? So that was something which is lots of information is available to you, but information is not the power. Wisdom is the power. Information is killing people right now because they don't know what exactly to use it, right? They have the blind spot. Can you see the back of your head? Can you see the back of your head? You can't see it. You know what? You can't see. That's your blind spot. And that's the blind spot of your knowledge also. But can I see it? Even I can't see it. But we can do one thing. I will ask you, come. Can you tell me what is behind me? and you will tell me, and I will tell you what is behind you. Like that, if you're open for learning, then always look at, believe that I don't know, and just become open, find out your word. Living on the edge means what? Try to go beyond your comfort level. You cannot expand in your comfort level, so you have to live on the boundary of the comfort level, right? I always say that if you are living on the boundary, that's where the growth will happen. If this is your boundary, right, you are here. If you want to grow, you have to live here. Means one leg in the known zone of life, and one leg is exploring outside of the life. I don't want you completely walk out and do a misadventure in life, but I say that be rooted what you have, but one leg keep searching what you don't know, because that's where. So you need to have an attitude to keep growing, keep finding every day, learn something new, and you will find your ways. Let me tell you, living on the explain. Find out the passions. Very important. How do you really know what I really like if you have not given some energies? Somewhere you were very interested in singing, but it just interest and it got killed. No, give some energy to it and see if it's something really, maybe you'd like to expand that itself and make it a full career. Somebody like photography, right? And you are good at it, you know that, but you never invested in this. Please invest, because these days the new education policy has come where the vocationals, you will get into the vocation just after 6th standard, and that's the beauty of the new education policy now, right? For the first time, these are major changes happening in the life of us, and I am very glad that it happened when I'm alive. Actually, the education policy has changed, right? This is going to turn around life. Now you are not going to read right from the English and Sanskrit and then chemistry and physics and biology and everything, right? You will pick up only those subjects which you are interested in, right? Pick up, find out your explore, right? Wherever you have failed, you know that there's nothing called failure. Okay? There's nothing called failure. Failures are the step to your success. If you are afraid of failing, period, you cannot grow. People who do not like failure, they cannot grow. If you are afraid of failure, then what you'll do, you will take only baby steps in life so that you don't fail. So life will also grow like this only. Take massive actions and see where you go. And if you're not getting what you got, that means you get massive learning out there. There's no other way of. Be ready to fail. There's nothing called failure. The stigma, just throw it out. Be proud that I have failed. Have you ever been, have you heard those politicians and coming and talking about how good they are? They all had so much of successes. They did so many good things. And end of the day, we keep listening to like this. Okay. Why we don't get inspired? They have never failed in life. And they don't inspire. But here comes somebody and comes and say, this is how I failed in my life. And this is how I moved. And suddenly you get inspired. Why? You say, this guy has failed. He looks like he's like me, right? You connect. And you will see in your life, you get inspired by only those people who have failed. Not once, twice, thrice, but they kept getting up, kept walking, kept getting up, and they inspired you. If you can inspired by others' failure, why can't you get inspired by your own failure? Because we never look at self. I would like all of you to think about this. Then building congruency means inner alignment. Inner alignment means what? What I truly believe, I live. You get that? What I truly feel inside, what is important, I live. Not like inside I'm something else, outside something else. If you do like this, you will never have power in your life, let me tell you. If you have that integrity, that whatever I feel important and this is important for me, I live that life itself, you will become unstoppable in life. Let me tell you, nobody, even God, cannot stop you. That discussion is separate. I'm telling you, there is a God and there isn't any God. Because your supreme self, the highest self itself is God. Or you connect with the other, though whichever way you believe, right? So you got to have the congruency. Don't live two life. Don't live with two masks. One for some people, one for others. If you do that, you will not be able to sleep. I hope you are understanding what I'm saying. Building congruency. Be whatever you are. You don't need to become. There is only one Parithos. Okay. Parithos cannot copy anyone. Parithos is a unique expression of life on this planet Earth. There could be 1 million CEOs. There could be 1 million, presidents. Parithos Saran is only one. I will live my life. Right? Think about that. Then I'm giving you what really you need to do to reinvent yourself in very short. And mind it, each one of the topic requires, but I hope from today you will start exploring this because it's just an introductory webinar. Know yourself first, as I mentioned. Remember that, how to know yourself. Find out what is my self-image, what I focus, find out how it is giving rise to my self-esteem. Anybody's self-esteem can go up right now if they start focusing on the right things, right? Life will change completely, right? So who you want to be, that is identity, is very, very important. Then if you have done this, so I would say then after that only three things that you require. Only three things you require for it. And magic will happen in your life. Magic will happen. I am doing this, I'm a product of this, so that I can say. Inside of all the analysis, what you see, there are only three steps which work on the neurosciences, neurology wise. It has been found out that in a study that what you see and what you imagine, brain doesn't know any difference. It doesn't know any difference. If you look at fMRI, if you are put in an fMRI equipment and they show you an apple and they look at which area of the brain and neurology is lighting up, and they take out the apple and ask you to imagine that apple, same thing happens. And when it's happening in the neurology, means the neuron connections are happening which forms your behavior, subconscious behavioral patterns, right? That's what is driving you. 98% of the way you talk, the way you behave, the way you do anything, it's subconscious, not conscious, right? So how do I harness the power of my subconscious mind? By having the right vision and the focus. If you just keep focusing on something in life and keep visualizing it, it will start happening. And if you want to really test it, think about today. Whatever you are constantly focused on in life or visualizing, if you are visualizing some misery, you are visualizing something wrong to happen, or you are fearful of something, constant anticipating something, is it not that happening already in your life? And you think somebody else is doing it? No. 100% any situation in your life, personal life, relationship life, career, or whatever is happening, purely based on what you are focused on. Find out, you will find the truth. This is the biggest myth that situation is creating. No, this quantum machine is creating the situation. I have a book, if I can get hold of it. Okay, right now it's not there. So this book is about, this is David Hoffman. Okay, can you see this? This book, all of you can see this?
Yes, sir.
Right. This is visual intelligence. This is written by one of the foremost scientists in today's world. He's called the Einstein of India, Einstein of the world today. He has written this visual intelligence. It's a technical book kind of thing. And he has said that whatever you perceive today in the world is your brain is creating and you are perceiving it. Somebody talked about sensitivity and perception. This is the truth. Please, you can just type in this name, Donald Hoffman, and you will see many YouTube channels and speak about the reality of this world. And he's saying only one thing, including Deepak Chopra. Everything is like a hallucination. Change it here and you will see that outside. Create a new idea of yourself here, and gradually your life will start moving towards it. I just wanted to mention that I'm not a person who is on the faith system only. Every aspect of it I'm scientifically verifying, and then only I'm telling this. Yes, I do not have time that much today for you to really take you through much deeper into it, right? So physiology, I mean, this is very important. Then the language. Language is the most powerful thing in life. Start listening to your language, what you are saying, because language is subconscious. So whatever is there in your inside programming is coming out in the language, right? And it tells you what is happening inside. Find out and use transformative language, positive language. If you're not, constantly repeat it and correct it. There are some people say, no, anytime ask them, ki thoda time hai? No, 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 I don't have time. They say constantly, I don't have time, I don't have time, I don't have time, I don't have time. They will say to themselves, three communication, communication with self, communication with others, and communication with the God. Three orientation of communication, right? What is the communication you're having with yourself is the most powerful communication. So what will happen if I say I don't have time? I will not have time. That's it. Whatever is happening because you said it so, that's not happening. If you say you don't have time, then what will happen? Even when you have time, some unplanned outages or accidents will happen to prove, look, I don't have time. Today, if you want to make a try, from today you say, I have time. Keep saying I have time. When somebody asks you, when you don't have time, say I have time. Within 1 week, many of unplanned outages in your life will vanish. If somebody is falling sick again and again and again and again, it could also be created by a subconscious mind because you said I don't have time, so something has to happen so that you do not have time. Can you see the power of the language? I conduct some 3 to 4 days workshops only on this language. It is so deep that every world aspect is getting created in language, right? Become aware. Right physiology, don't sit like this. Your physiology and mind both are connected. Raise your energy in the body and you see your mental state will change, emotions will change. Have you seen somebody angry like this? Very, very angry. Cannot happen. If they become angry, they will become like this, right? Have you seen somebody very elated, excited like this? They are excited, they become like this, right? I'm telling you, for 2 minutes, if you change your body language like this, right? No matter how depressed you are, 30% change cortisol level in the brain will come down and you come out from the depression by physiology. Having a physiology of the body, you change your mind, let me tell you. Many times we are unable to control our minds, but you can control your physiology. Do that. That's a great tool you have. This is an amazing tool, right? And that will change your psychology. So if you have the right focus, you give the right meaning. And when you give the right meaning, you have the right emotions. When you have the right emotions, you have the right actions. And when you have the right actions, you have the right result. This is so simple mathematics. It's not difficult. But what has happened? Somewhere we are not aware what I am focused on in life. And that's the only problem we have. Right? So I would like to stop here. What I meant by reinventing is the day you find yourself this way, automatically you'll reinvent. Under these circumstances, no matter what situation you're living right now, what kind of tension, stress, worries you may have at this time, be it financial, be it career, be it health, anything. I'm telling you, I'm handling cancer patient, I'm handling career issues. People are manifesting just by right visualization and focus. Mind it, situation will come. You don't manage the situation. What you got to manage yourself. Situation will get managed because you are Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. With that, I just want to stop. I hope it makes sense. If you have any questions, please ask questions. I'm slightly extended. It was an interesting discussion we had, and usually it's very difficult for me to complete this session in 1 hour, this topic. And I'm very passionate about this subject. I love talking about, so I spoke a lot and overstretched the time. So my apologies for it. But let's take some question answer. I'm ready right now to take question for any time you have. So no limit from my side, but some of you may have some other engagements. So I'm now, so Shima, you can open this for question answer.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Participants, could you please raise your hands to ask questions so that we can unmute yourself?
Paritosh,
Yeah.
I have a question. Suppose, as you say just now, that if we have the positive intuitions in mind, then we can go look forward in future in better way. After looking forward in better way, also suppose if we'll get failure in life,
Mhm.
then we have to be ready to face it. So for that, how to make ourselves bold to face the consequences?
Actually, what has happened is failure is overrated. Okay. And I want to tell you something. It's not the failure that we talk about. In fact, one of the things what we have learned in this process, there is actually nothing called failure. It's a feedback. So in NLP, what we call failure is only feedback, right? So why you go down in a failure case? Because when that event happened, the failure, whatever you call it, it's an event, right? But what we do is we only look at the negative aspects. That's why emotions are negative. But you can also be elated by finding what need to be corrected. Tell me one thing, when a child is born, how many times it falls down on its way to walk or stand? Do you call them failure?
No.
Why? It's a learning process, right?
Yeah.
How many times you fall when you are learning cycling? Did you call it a failure?
No.
No.
Then why you are calling failure? So actually in the transformative world, there is nothing called failure. It's only the mismatch of expectation and the result. But that's the gap actually which gives you the opportunity of growth. And then only growth happens. If there is no failure, no growth. Forget about success. Impossible. So I would not like to say whether failure is right or wrong. I said failure, if you fail, right? Congratulate. I've learned something. Okay. So I'm reframing the meaning. Word remains failure only. But what is the meaning inside you should hear? Now opportunity to learn. But what has been programmed to us? Failure means bad. Failure means shame. Failures mean guilt. This is what has been put to us in the mind. Now reframe it. Failure means opportunity to learn. Failure means opportunity to learn. Reframe your language and your life starts moving. You'll not feel bad about it. Right? So
Yes.
it is something we have given a wrong meaning or somebody else has given a wrong meaning. I'm living with that meaning even till today. I hope I answered your question, Seema.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Hello.
There is one more person is waiting, sir. Ma'am, could you please?
Uh-huh. Yes, sir. Sir, I have question. Like you told, कि from today onwards, we should change our body language, our positivity, everything and all. So
Right?
suppose we change from now onwards.
Hmm.
Any idea कि how much time it will take to keep on a track or be on a track what we really want to achieve and all?
First of
So.
all, your mental state will change right now. For example, when people come with sometime depression and all, right? I met them sit like this, I stand like this, Titanic position. Remember the Titanic movie? Head
Mm-hmm.
looking at the sky, go
Yes,
out and
yes.
stand like this, spine straight and all. And be there
Mhm.
like 2 minutes. If you keep it for 2 minutes, you will see in this state. If I ask you, if you think of a sad event in your life, you will not recall. It will not come. Try right now. It will not happen. And people do not know this, right? So if you keep doing this often, right, within weeks, you can come out of your depression. So whenever you realize, okay, again I've gone back like this,
Mhm.
come straight, right? Stand and do some body movement. Give some jog. Say yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. You immediately your body chemistry changes, right? And this is the way Tony Robbins says. He doesn't take you through all intellectual exercise. He'll make you dance 40% of the time in his workshops, right? And your energy level is so high that you cannot get depressed because chemistry, the emotions are nothing but the biochemistry. You know that? Now, emotions are nothing but the biochemistry. It is because of the cortisol and all the negative hormones which is released. But when you change your body posture, change your energy level, change your even this brastika, right?
Mhm.
If you are feeling depressed, every morning, just get up like this and do this. What will happen for the entire day? You will be positive. Just by doing this, you will become positive. No matter what situation you are going in, you will have such a mental state. We say that you don't need resources in life. You need a resourceful mental state. That's it.
To
Nothing
achieve.
need in life. You only one resource you life need in your life. Resource of resourcefulness, mental state. If that is there, if you don't have any wealth, nothing is there. You'll create it because you have the mindset.
With mind only we can achieve all the things like.
We call it resourcefulness, not the resource. No resource, money नहीं है, education नहीं है, experience नहीं है, I'm aged or I'm too young. All these are, I don't want to say bullshit again, but then I'm saying it. So only thing is mindset. That's why sometimes I call myself, I'm a fool. Let it be a fool, right? I'm absolutely fool. Nothing wrong with it. Because when I'm fool, what happens? I'm a fool. So I have to learn from everybody. Right? If I do mistake, people will call me anyway. I'm a fool. So I can, if I say I'm a fool, right? I have the right to do mistakes. That's it. I'll do a lot of mistakes and learn.
So many people say like you should try to find out your purpose in life and all. So any your views are there to how to.
Absolutely, absolutely. The day you get connected with your purpose, right? You become unstoppable because for which you will give life.
So how to find
Because
that means any
yes, so
exercise for that.
that's a good question, and I'm sorry I would not be able to answer this here, but I'm saying that can you start finding out? And this is not one day. Let me tell you, it's a process. It's not a destination. As a
Okay.
person keeps on growing, purpose also keeps on growing. But today, am I living as per my purpose, which I know? That's what give you the energy and alignment. You get that? So even if you started asking this question, why I'm here in this world? Am I here to just go and complete my engineering or education and get married and have some children and take care of them? Is that my life? Or life has some bigger purpose? The moment you start thinking about it, a different process starts. And then only your life will start moving. You get that? Don't worry if you don't know your purpose. Start thinking just you are on track. Just by asking this question, you are on track. From today, start searching what's my purpose. And look at this date, put down a date on your diary. If you are starting today, meet me after a few years, your life will be completely different. I can guarantee that.
Oh, okay, sir. Thank you so much for
Don't
the.
worry if you don't know your purpose. Most of the humanity don't know their purpose.
No. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Sir, three of them are waiting
Yeah,
to ask the question. I'll unmute.
sure.
Gurunath sir. Gurunath sir.
Gurunath sir, unmute yourself.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
I'm extremely happy. Very nice session. You really shared a lot of insights. It is true,
Thank
sir.
you.
Emotions are sensors. If we don't keep our sensors with sense,
Right.
we cannot succeed in life. My request is well organized, very nice webinar. Lot of right insights you have shared with us to shape our future. Kindly share good books to read, sir. That's what I've just put in my chat box also. Will you suggest us to read some good books to reinvent, refine ourselves to move forward in life, sir? Please.
So what I will do is I will, I mean, books again is like based on your
General
own.
books, sir. General books.
Right.
I'm
So
asking.
what I will do is some of my favorites. Okay. I will drop. We'll drop a list to Seema, so she can share with all of you.
Kindly. Please do that, sir.
Sure, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank
Sure.
you.
And I have left my mobile number and email
Yes,
ID.
sir. I have noted down. I'll write a mail to you also.
Sure.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Any further question anyone has?
Yeah, one more person, sir. Vijita. Ma'am, could you please unmute yourself? Hello.
Yeah.
Vijita, ma'am.
Ma'am, Vijita ma'am, are you there?
No, I think they're not
Let me unmute
unmuting.
Then Reena Chopra ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Reen,
Over. Ma'am was
oh,
first.
okay. Okay, fine.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine is over, but can I ask one more question?
Yeah, please, ma'am.
Go ahead. Go
Yeah.
ahead. I'm
Okay,
here to
about
answer whatever I can answer. I have a lot of time.
no, sir. Actually, you are clarifying so many doubts of us, which we have from very long time. So one like about emotional intelligence and emotional managing, you were telling, no?
Right.
So just I have a question. Like suppose it is in our nature, we are very emotional person. So how to manage it? Any practice for that, or how to use emotion on right time for any that kind of exercise? If you are you.
Emotion intelligence is a subject in itself. Okay. What it talks about basically is that first of all, do we recognize emotions? Many of us don't. Many of us do not know how many emotions are there. You know how many emotions are there? Can you tell me?
So we know very common kind of fear, love,
As
happiness.
per one study, there are 6,000 emotions.
Oh, okay.
Right. But first of all, we are ourselves not aware what kind of emotions right now I'm going with. Right. We do not even understand others. That's why we do not understand what others are going through. Right. So then if you don't know, then you do not know what to do with it. Right. So this is a subject, but you should understand one thing, that emotion is a biochemistry. Okay. The way we think and the kind of meaning that you have given, right? Based on that, the kind of thoughts you will have, and immediately that emotions will also get released, right? So if that is so, then why do you keep reminding yourself of the negative emotions? Let's say if you're right now, if you're looking at Paritosh, and if you want to only focus on what I do not have, right? Like one of the NHRDN sessions I went and somebody saw me on the dais. I'll tell you this is what happened. Because now my programs is being attended by the HR directors, including CXO people. They come and attend my program, right? I conduct emotional intelligence program for the corporates, and I am doing it for the business leaders. I'm coaching CXO and CEOs actually. When I'm doing all of this work, right? So one of the educational institution has invited me, and there I saw stalwarts in the HR field also there in the dais. Okay, and I'm also there, and I'm sharing that I'm not an HR person by education. So one of the faculty member he asked me, how come you are here when you do not have any HR education and HR experience? Right? This is the question asked to me. You know what was my answer? My answer was that yes, I do not have HR education, right? But when I worked for 23 years in the corporates, right? So I was on the effect side of the HR, not in the cause side of the HR. So probably I know the HR better than you in terms of the effect. So I know what to do in HR. So people started laughing. So I said that what you focus on, right? And what you focus on will change your emotions immediately.
So I think we are so much judgmental, and we only
And
have
judgment,
that perceptions,
judgment
I
is
think.
a predisposition. Judgment is a predisposition. You have given it a meaning. Actually, nothing has got any meaning. You give a meaning as per your experience. I'll tell you how. I'll give an example. Please don't mind. I'm using a word. Okay. When I say a word called divorce, right? How people react? Some people, oh God, divorce. They react like this. Some people say divorce. They are happy, right? And some divorce, so what? Next, we'll go for the next. Three people, three responses means what meaning you have given based on your emotions come. Are you getting me?
Yes, yes.
So there's nothing called one meaning. What you say, one word when you say, people have different experience, associations, so many things in that word. So everybody understand language differently as per the world, inner world they have, right?
Mindset, everything will come to mindset only.
So um, it took me time. It took me some 6 to 7 years, basically, to go out of judgment. Earlier, I cannot live with certain kind of people. I cannot accept some people. I cannot tolerate some.
That
All
is
those
the
kind of
problem,
things
sir.
were there. But now what has happened? There are now no good person or no bad person. We are all different person. That's it. We don't have a good value system. We don't have a bad value system. We have different value system. That's it. So I don't get. When I see different kind of behavior, I just laugh. My God, different kind of programs. So I have something new to learn, explore. So humans are the most interesting subject today for me. Okay, full entertainment actually for me. So I don't get that impacted the way I used to get impacted earlier. Right? Somebody sends me some bad words, right? I say, okay, so that's a new sound. Let me hear, right? What happens? Somebody, if you're, I hope you're not Telugu or Tamil, but if somebody say bad words to me in Tamil and Telugu, it doesn't happen to me because I don't
We
understand what
don't we don't understand.
it's music to me. So anything can trigger you only when you trigger inside. You get that? So you become a television, but don't give your remote to somebody else. They'll keep pushing the button and make you upset. Keep the remote also with you. Nobody can upset you. You can control. Yes, it requires little practice, right? But it happens once you start becoming conscious. Okay, what is the emotions right now? I can tell you any emotions if you're feeling right now, just do one thing. Acknowledge, say to yourself, okay, right now I'm feeling anger. Right now I can see my heart rate is up. Right now I can see my breathing is disturbed. Just do these three things. Just say, not loudly, just to say to yourself. And you know what? Emotions is energy in motion. It cannot remain the same very next moment. But what you got to do, just acknowledge. Don't deny it. Deny means you will do something to avoid it, right? Don't deny it. That's the biggest problem. We accept the emotion. The moment you accept the emotions, it starts going off. And within a few seconds, new emotions will come. You can overcome that. I'm giving it because I handled many depression cases and many things, and many people are dealing with resentment, breakups, and so many things. I counsel them. I ask them to first accept this emotions, and you see, it just goes down. Emotions cannot remain the same. It changes. That's the beauty of it.
We have to be conscious about our thing and we have to
Becoming
acknowledge it.
conscious is what college emotional intelligence. You said right. You said it right. So the moment you become aware about it, you have control. What you are not aware, they control you.
Then, yes,
That's the only thing. Everything, no need of changing anything. Let me tell you, in life,
just accept it. And,
become aware, and you have. That's why we call it self-realization. We don't call self-acquisition. It's not about acquiring something. It's about,
self-realization is must.
it's all about, it's a game of awareness. That's it.
Thank you so much, sir.
Sir, my question
Yeah.
is, we have gadgets to do settings. My phone, especially mobile phone or laptop, what my work want to be, I can do settings. So how can we do this type of settings in our mindset? Because those gadgets were developed by human beings.
Reinvention is the resetting only, but not resetting to default. Okay. Yes, that this time you design what configuration you want. That's
Okay.
right. The moment you become aware, I'm telling you, the moment you become aware, right, automatically resetting will happen.
Okay.
1 बजे.
The moment you become aware, it loses. This is a rope.
Yeah.
This is a snake. Okay. Now you are afraid and you are fearful. Now you are looking for a stick, or you are running away, or doing something, right? So much of action, so much of emotions, right? But somebody
Yes.
told you, no, 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 no. You know what? This is not rope. This is not snake. This is rope. Okay. Is it rope? And then what happens? You need to act. You need to do it. Now everything vanishes. Awareness, in the absence of awareness, we have too many things to do. If you become aware, many of the problem will cease to exist for you to work.
Okay. Yes, understood.
Many of the life issues that people have is an illusion. They don't have that. They're not even aware. But they are reacting to their emotions. They're not actually finding out what's the issue. If you become aware, I always say that don't manage the situations in life. A problem is what? A problem is a bolt from blue, because you're not prepared and it came, so that's why you call a problem, right? What is the definition of a problem? When something comes which you are not prepared, that is the problem, right?
Yes.
You know what? All of us are going to die, and it's not a problem for most of us. I am just surprised. What
Yes.
kind of humans we are, right? We are all going to die, right? Are you
Yes.
sitting worried? No, one day I'm going to die. One day I'm going to die. No, why? Because you know that it's going to come, right? But
Correct.
big problem right now, and you're going suicide also. Why? Because something happened you have not accepted or expected, right? So
Yes.
problem is always coming like a bolt from blue. But
Okay.
you know the magic? Even solution also comes from bolt from blue. So what you need to do? You don't attempt to solve an issue. What you do? Manage yourself during that time,
Okay.
and everything will get managed. This is the secret I am giving.
Thank you, sir. Wonderful, sir.
No matter how grave, how bad situation in your life, forget about the situation that time. Just see how can I keep my emotions right? How can I keep myself? How can I manage myself? And you know what will happen? Time will solve all your problems in life.
Okay. Yes, sir. Excellent, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank
I
you.
think no more question, Archana.
So far, no participants have raised their hands. I think they've all, we have done.
Uh, so now I just wanted to invite our principal sir to propose vote of thanks. Raghu sir?
Yeah, I'm very much here, ma'am.
Okay.
Shall we go with the vote of thanks, or you want to play that short video of calling, then vote of thanks?
Yeah, yes, sir. I'll play.
Whichever the way you prefer.
Yeah, first
I
I'll play.
always respect and follow the host.
Yeah, I'll play video, sir.
Okay, Paritosha?
Sure, sure.
Yeah, no, Seema ma'am.
Yeah,
We
sir.
will only in the program. Just a
Okay.
2-minute video will be played, and then I'll take.
Sure, sure, sir.
Well, I've been given the privilege of thanking a gentleman. I would like to call Paritosh Saran sir as a smart saint in a suit. His whole
Yeah,
philosophy,
thank you.
that's a new title for you, sir. Please accept it on behalf of Silicon City College, my staff, and my students. A smart saint in a suit. That will be
So much.
Paritosh Saran for
Thank
us.
you.
And I remembered many sessions that I have attended from international trainers. One particularly from Jane McKay from Canada. I admit her as my own guru, and a lot of similarities I found, and it was a really lively session. And there are a lot of takeaways from this program. Uh, Particularly the way you mixed philosophy, psychology, and the self-help process. That I like very much. Here I would like to just quote from Kathopanishad. When you spoke on self-belief and revealing oneself to, I mean, that exploring oneself. In Kathopanishad, there is a saying, Kaschid Diraha Pratyagatmanam Aikshad Avritta Chakshur Amrutatvam Icchan. One in a million who is really interested to find the nectar of life will not look outward, but will look inside. So
Absolutely.
that is the underlining philosophy. And anyway, I also remember the Wing Commander Abhinandan. Just yesterday we got 5 Rafale. So I
Right.
remember Wing Commander Abhinandan when he had tea in Pakistan, when he was questioned I know how it will be difficult in a military position when you are held by a enemy camp, and you have been questioned, bombarded with lot of torturing questions, and you say, I'm not supposed to answer that. And finally they ask you, at least tell us about the tea. He says it's fantastic. So look at the presence of mind and the self-confidence. These are the models that we need to follow.
Right.
And 2 books or 3 books I remember. One is Dr. Alexis Carrel's Man the Unknown. And there is one more book, Man Know Thyself. And probably Paritosh Saran sir have read this book, Biology of Belief by Dr. Bruce Lipton. If you have not read that book, any of those participants, you have to read that book, Biology of Belief, Dr. Bruce
Absolutely.
Lipton.
And yes, similarly, you have this the power of subconscious mind, which
Yes.
is again famous book.
Yeah.
So
And
actually,
I have noted all the books that you have mentioned. That's my
one
homework
book,
you have given.
because you already mentioned they are the books I would have mentioned. You have already mentioned. I would like to add one more book people should read. Is about this book is called Man's Search for Meaning with Viktor
Yeah.
Frankl, if you have read about it. So we are so worried about what you call our life situation, right? Viktor Frankl was one who was caught in the concentration camp, right? Where everybody around him, all relatives were being butchered and killed and burnt alive or whatever, right? And how he survived. There was no way he could survive, first of all. But you know what he did was, he only kept one thing in mind, that whatever is happening here also, there must be some meaning. And I should survive to tell the world one day. And he survived. And he has changed today millions of lives. So remember one thing, we have a meaning why we are on this planet.
Exactly.
And none of us have a lesser meaning. We are completing this cosmos to work is the way it is to work. But we have not found what is my role consciously. We are not conscious about it. So we only always live and live in experience on the effect side of life. But if we become aware, then we can live in the cause side of it. And that's a huge shift, right? So I would just like to add that book. And I think if people can start with this, then they'll know that this subconscious mind, if we become aware or programmed through our conscious mind, right? Or we remove our subconscious mind, drop it, our subconscious mind becomes super conscious. So there is nothing that we don't know. Everything is inside. What is blocking us is our programmings, our conditioning. And conditionings are not outside, it is inside. So we need to go inside and program here, and then we experience a new world. Right now, it's possible.
Agree, sir.
Yeah.
So
Thank you so
actually, but we are not happy with this 1.5 hour, 2 hour session, sir. We would like to continue this, and we will have regular programs with you. And when you are in Bangalore, we don't want you to be just a guest of Dr. Seema Sinha. We want you to be a guest of Silicon City College, guest of Professor Raghu, guest at Archana's place, so that we will share your intelligence, enjoy the knowledge that you have. I thank you.
I'm readily accept it. Whenever I come, I'll inform you.
Sure,
And
sir. Thank you.
it will be a
Or
pleasure.
else, no. Or else we can always connect on Zoom and other platforms.
Yes, you can always.
Thank you so much for your cooperation, and thank you for accepting our invitation to be a guest speaker today. We thank you for this lovely session on behalf of the college and the teaching staff, as well as the participants. Thank you so much, sir. We will take leave of you now. Meet you soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I always say I have time. Okay. So I
Thank you.
somehow get time. So don't worry about it. And I'll be very happy to interact and have the next session whenever you want. So thank you so much. And thank you, Seema, for organizing all of this.
Thank
Connecting.
you, Parito sir. Since 1 month I was keep on behind this to call you in our college to become a guest
Give
speaker.
feedback form.
So thank you that you accepted this and you had today you are
Shared, sir,
here.
already.
No.
The way you gave the answer to the participants, I hope they all get benefited with this. And everyone, we all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.